I have this thing called Evernote. And so it's hard to like figure out how do I make notes? How do I put them on big stickies?
Yeah.
Like I put them on my wall. I put them on a notebook, but I have to put them hot. Like it's but then
It's
that's
called
not convenient.
Evernote.
So Evernote is me. Um, you put down notes about your book, right?
Yeah.
And they hold the notes. They hold the notes for you. So you know how I don't know if you ever do this, but like
Hmm.
you well, basically in the past I just write down the notes
Hmm.
on a notepad. But then I started taking pictures of quotes that I like in the book.
Yeah.
Evernote, you can type it, and guess what? There's a feature where you take pictures. So I take pictures of the excerpt of the book, and it's in my Evernote, and I can click on it. But even that's not perfect, right? Because,
Sure.
okay, now it's in my phone, but that's not, what am I going to do? Right. But I just figured something out.
Print them out.
Dude, I, no, even better than printing it out. There's a feature on there I've never used before. I email the, those photos to myself.
Okay.
And so now all my notes are just, I don't have to look down. They're all right here because they're tabs.
Do you think I know the first thing about how hard your life has been? How you feel? Who you are? Because I read Oliver Twist. Does that encapsulate you?
Hello, everybody. Today we are discussing the 1997 film Good Will Hunting. Everybody knows about Good Will Hunting. Everybody's seen it. Come on. Uh, who can forget Ben Affleck, Matt Damon starring, Robin Williams, and very interesting to see him and reflect on who he was as an actor and rewatching this film. The performances, especially Matt Damon, fantastic. Minnie Driver, they're all good. Does it still hold up after all these years? I think it does. There's a few things I really like about it. I mean, it's entertaining. I mean, it holds your interest. It's about a boy, young man, 20-year-old, very much disaffected in society. We don't know why till later. We know he's violent. We know he's moody. But wait a minute, he's a genius. He's answering these complex equations in the hallways of Harvard. Harvard, right? Harvard.
Yeah, Harvard. It's Harvard. No, MIT. MIT.
MIT. Okay,
Oh
that's
no.
right.
Shoot, I think the professor's from MIT, but I think it's at
One of
Harvard.
those Ivy League schools.
Yeah.
Um, sure. Yeah, we know it's in Massachusetts. So it's a kind of like a love letter to Boston, you know, and there's there's just this sense of place that you appreciate it. They got the Boston accents. Robin Williams, I think, maybe sometimes drops it here and there, but for the most part, it gives you that setting and you can appreciate it for those things. I do want to talk about maybe the things of about the teaching things that I like, but there are a couple things I dislike about it. One, um, still, even the first time I saw Matt Damon's character is so unlikable at times. He's so obnoxious that you kind of don't root for him a few times. Um, and maybe it's just a bias of mine. It's hard for me to root for real obnoxious people. On the other hand, there's people like this, right? So how can I really critique the film if the guy's a jackass? I will say at one point, Robin Williams tells I should say Matt Damon's character is kind of taken under the wing of the professor there because he wants him to work with him on these equations, these algorithms together so that they could produce maybe papers together. There's a goal here, but at one point, Robin Williams tells that professor he's a good kid, and I said, "Come on, he's not a good
Right.
kid. He's Give me a break. He's a troubled kid though, and some of our students are troubled. And so the other thing is it's hard to sort of, I guess it creates it'd be a good discussion to talk about how genius is either made or born. This takes into the idea, this gives us the idea that geniuses are just born that way. And I don't know, I'm not sure if I dislike that. Maybe it's just a point of discussion after the movie. So there's a couple of teacher things I liked.
Mhm.
And one of them, the teacher relied on the student. It kind of reminded me of the Around the Block, where the teacher is putting up a play for this, for a city festival or something, the Hamlet, and you are relying on your students to perform. This student is relying, I mean, this professor is relying on this student to perform. And it's really good for students to be useful, to bring them up, and you're not just doing something for the homework, for the work of the class. No, maybe it's a project, and you can rely on a kid for a particular job, task, that type of thing. And then I really like Robin Williams' patience. There was a moment where they didn't say a word because Matt Damon didn't want to talk. He didn't want to. He had committed. He had to commit to these therapy sessions because of a little criminal activity, and he didn't want to participate. He just sat there, and Robin Williams didn't force him. They just sat and looked at each other for an hour. That is okay. Sometimes we have to take a step back and let it play out, not
Right.
address every issue. And so I like that part, those two teacher things. And
Yeah,
well, yeah, Good Will Hunting. It's pretty good.
I'm with you, Ruben. I really like the film. I've seen it several times, and of course, I have to give my recommendation. Looking at I'm really into the music, and I know you are too. Elliott Smith does a great job with his songs, and the score by Danny Elfman. Just sometimes we see these movies, Ruben, and you know this, they're so dated just because of the music. You're like, oh, geez, I don't even want it. Just gives you a bad taste even before you start watching. But when you start hearing those words by Elliott Smith and then the music by Elfman, you're like, oh man, this is good stuff. It still works in 20. This is like what, 25 years ago? And it's still relevant. I think the music still goes with it. Some of the couple of the minor characters I just have to throw out because I really believe this was really driven by a character. And you mentioned what a great job Damon did, and even Affleck and Williams. But how about Casey Affleck? Every scene he's in, he just steals. He's just funny. He's silly, but he's just a lot of fun. You laugh. I didn't know that Cole Hauser was in the film. He's the other friend of Casey. The he's one of the two buddies, and one of them's Casey and one's Cole Hauser. He plays Billy McBride, and he's the fame now of Yellowstone. He's in Yellowstone. I think our mom has a little crush on him, but he's in this film, and I think some of the ladies might like that. But he has a small part, but it's fun to see these characters that now you see them and they look so much different, and they've matured more. But the Williams part, oh my gosh, some of those monologues, Ruben, are great, and they're so hard. I was thinking, man, how did he go? Because he's always clowning, but this is not a comedic role. This is not a typical Robin Williams role, and he got the Academy Award for this. And some of those dialogues he has with Damon, even the park bench scene where he's just telling him, "Hey, when you just tore down my life," because Damon starts talking about he knows how to get under his skin. He knows how to press buttons in people, not just Williams, but everybody. And he pressed Williams' button, and his button was his wife. And he goes, once you did that, he fell apart. But then he realized, wait a minute, this is a kid. This guy's not gone to Rome. This guy's read about it. This guy's never been an orphan, although he has been somebody who, I mean, he has been an orphan, and he knows that part, but that's all he knows is going through the system and so forth. But I really enjoyed the performances by Williams and Damon and even Affleck, but definitely worth seeing. And not too much is talked about Minnie Driver. I thought I was just reading about this, Ruben, that she wasn't even wanted by the producers. I think Weinstein, I think he was a producer of this, and they had to fight for her. They said, no, we want her, and she did a great job. And I just can't think of the movie without her. But no, I definitely recommend this film.
Her performance is very real. It's just like you believe every word she says. Certainly Matt Damon. That scene that you mentioned, I like to when he said that I realized, so he was troubled by Damon's words,
Mm-hmm.
many obnoxious moments with that kid in the movie, but when he deeply reflected on the time Damon insulted him and his wife, he realized you're just a boy, you're just a child. But that's useful sometimes when we get frustrated in the class. That look at you're the adult in the room. Come on, you know. You got to rise above it, be professional, and what patience, uh, real marvelous to see. I guess they kind of depicted. I'm forgetting the actor's name, the professor, but is it
Stellan Skarsgård, but in the movie it's Lambo. I think his name is Gerald Lambo.
Skarsgård? Yeah, that guy is that. He he's kind of like the victim. I'm not the victim, the villain kind of thing, and it's you know I guess it's they just try to have a villain in the movies, but he wasn't the worst guy in the world. He was trying to help this guy. Yes, it was for selfish reasons. That's okay. You know, I thought he did a admirable job bailing the kid out, trying to put him on the right track. Hey, he's the one who hired Robin Williams
Yeah, for sure.
for therapy. So pretty good movie, everybody. And thanks for watching. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.